Hey everybody, are you ready to play Law School Spot the Difference? I'll show you a picture and then another picture, and you've got to tell me what's different about them. And you use your negligence knowledge to figure it out. Ready? Here we go. Here's our first picture. A farmer with some haystacks. He looks proud of himself. He's stacked hay the right way by waiting until it's dry. Now, here's the picture where something is different. What could it be? Anything you notice at all? That's right. It's a lack of objective, reasonable care. Or anything similar, you said. You're grading yourself, so be generous. This is the case of Vaughan v. Menlove, the case credited with establishing the reasonable person standard in negligence law. Menlove was the doofus farmer who stacked wet hay. His defense was, I was doing my best. I didn't know I shouldn't stack wet hay. But the court said that doesn't matter. Your liability is determined in relation to what the reasonable farmer, a person of ordinary prudence, would do. And a reasonable farmer of ordinary prudence doesn't stack wet hay because it turns into a heat-generating compost pile that will spontaneously combust. Silly farmer. You are liable in negligence. Next picture. Okay. Looks like a guy walking down the street. Now, here's a picture that looks exactly the same, except something is different. What difference can you spot, no matter how little? Here's a clue. We're looking for 3 words in Latin. That's right, res ipsa loquitur. In Latin, the thing speaks for itself. From the case of Byrne v. Boadle, 1863. Mr. Byrne got clocked by that barrel, and Mr. Boadle said, you can't prove I was being negligent with my barrels. And the court said, that thing speaks for itself. Res ipsa loquitur.
Tell him, Chief Barrow. Yes, I concur.
It's a good thing that barrel spoke for itself. Mr. Byrne, quite understandably, had a memory blackout of the whole event. Here's our next picture. A happy little tugboat on the ocean. Now, notice there's a weather radio, which tugboats don't customarily have as equipment when the facts of this case were taking place. And the man there on the tugboat is listening to the radio. That's a good thing to do on a tugboat. Listen to the weather report. You know, could we get a face on that tugboat? Great. Based on my knowledge of tugboats, which I've accumulated from watching many hours of edutainment shows with young children, most tugboats do have a face. Now let's see the picture where something will be different. Can you spot the difference? Use your tort law knowledge. That's right. I knew you could do it. There's a lack of a weather radio being listened to. In other words, there's a lack of reasonable care despite using customary care. You can play this game as well as Judge Learned Hand. On the left, the tugboat captain is exercising reasonable prudence, listening to the radio so he can find out about the weather. On the right, that tugboat is sticking to the industry standard practice, which is to not bother with radios. Judge Learned Hand says,
an adequate receiving set suitable for a coastwise tug can now be got at small cost. Is it then our final answer that the business had not yet generally adopted receiving sets? Indeed, in most cases, reasonable prudence is in fact common prudence, but strictly it is never its measure.
Translation: custom is probative of what counts as reasonable care, but it's not dispositive. Further translation: silly tugboat industry. The fact that everyone's being careless is no excuse. Hey, tugboat company, buy a weather radio, you silly goose. Now add up your score. How did you do? If you got all 3 correct, that's great. But it doesn't mean you should stop studying, you silly goose.
Judge Learned Hand from the afterlife here, advising you to like, subscribe, and tell all of your law school friends about Professor Eric E. Johnson's channel. It's reasonably prudent to do so.